Namaste, Sadaa, Vatsalye, Matrabhoomey. Today, a lunatic retired IAS officer, Mander, made some comments on his Twitter handle on Ayodhya. He wrote that he is appalled by the Prime Minister's statement that Ayodhya is embedded in every Indian's heart. He recalled Mahatma Gandhi's advice that no true place of worship can be built on the desecration of another religion. So, this is the tweet Mr. Mander wrote on his Twitter handle. He must first know that building mosques after demolishing temples is kufr, meaning it is an un-Islamic act. It is haram. It is illegal structure. And for his information, there was no namaz offered for centuries at Babri Masjid. But on the other hand, Hindus were offering prayers in the vicinity of Ram Janmabhoomy after the demolition of the temple in the 16th century. There is evidence to prove that Ram temple was erased by Babur and a mosque was raised on the site. But before digging into the available evidence, it is important to know who Mander is. He is a controversial left-wing activist and one of the 40 people who had filed a review petition in the court against the Ayodhya verdict. He is the same who filed a petition against the Citizenship Amendment Act, and he tried to incite Muslim mobs against India and judiciary. He had said, and you have all seen the video going viral. In the video, we heard him saying that henceforth decisions pertaining to matters of Indian state shall not be delivered by the Supreme Court or the Parliament, but will be made in the streets. He is the chairman of George Soros Open Society Foundation's Human Rights Initiative Advisory Board. Listeners, you would be aware George Soros had recently announced that he will commit $1 billion towards fighting nationalism and nationalists and had chosen Prime Minister Modi as the prime target. Mr. Harsh Mandhar is the director of the Center for Equity Studies, which has received funds from Christian evangelical organizations, and he has openly batted for religious conversions in the past. He is also known Ishrat Jahan apologist, the female LET operative who was killed in an encounter along with three others by crime branch officials in Gujarat. Mr. Harsh Mandhar was also one of the individuals who had signed a mercy petition for the Mumbai attack terrorist Yaqub Menon and was among the 203 persons who had signed the mercy petition for Pakistani terrorist Ajmal Kasab. He had also signed the mercy petition for Afzal Guru. This is the character, the activism of Harsh Mandhar, and the activities are anti-India, anti-Indian, and anti-Hindu. I would like to bring to his notice the historical text evidence to prove that a standing Ram temple was destroyed in Ayodhya and its material was reused to rebuild or reused to build a mosque on the temple site in Ayodhya. The Babri Masjid, listen to me, Mr. Harshmanda, very carefully. If you happen to listen to this video, the Babri Mosque has always been called Masjid-e-Janmasthan, and the courtyard near the ark and pulpit within the boundary of the mosque was called Mukham Janmasthan Ka. Not only this, Mirza Zan, an eyewitness as well as active participant in the jihad led by Amir Ali Ametwi during Wajid Ali Shah's regime in 1855 for the capture of Hanuman Gadhi from the Hindus, wrote in his book Hadikha ay Shuhada that a lofty masjid was built by Babur in 1528 after demolishing Ram Janmasthan temple, besides which Sita ki Rasoi was situated. And Mr. Harsh Mandhar, the Babri Masjid is still known far and wide as the Sita ki Rasoi Mosque. So these are some of the historical text evidences. There is much more such evidence. And Mr. Mandhar should know that there is archaeological evidence also to prove that the temple existed before it was brought down. K.K. Muhammad, the former director of the Archaeological Survey of India, gave 7 pieces of evidence that prove the existence of a temple. The Archaeological Survey of India found 12 pillars of the mosque that were made from the remains of a temple. It also found many terracotta sculptures that depicted human beings and animals, a characteristic of a temple, not a mosque. The ISI also found over 50 pillars, hinting that below the mosque stood a temple that could be dated back to the 12th century AD. It further found a temple system that depicted a crocodile, a symbol of the holy Ganges, to signify a symbolic bath in the holy rivers of the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati to wash off one's sins. The ASI also unearthed several remnants of a temple's shikhara from the mosque's premises, adding to the evidence of a Hindu structure underneath the Muslim one. The archaeologists also found 263 pieces of terracotta objects of gods, goddesses, and female figurines that consolidated the theory that it was the site of a temple. An inscription of Vishnu Harish Shila Falak was also found on two remains found at the site that proved to be an important circumstantial evidence that stated the existence of a temple there. So, Mr. Harsh Mandhar, stop misleading Hindus. You hardly realize that by doing this, you are only causing great damage to Rome Bhakts, Sonia Gandhi, and her gang. Why don't you take sannyas from being anti India and anti Hindu and also advise Sonia team to follow suit? It will be good for the country and its people, and certainly excellent for you, Mr. Harsh Mandar.